somewhere else. You don't have to stare at it all day.
I didn't know you could just have something towed.
Apparently you can.
You can.
But
The Scottish entertainment and business world was rocked to its core when news broke on the 29th of September 2025 that Outlander star Sam Heughan's Galloway distillery had come under official investigation for serious regulatory violations. For a man long regarded as one of Scotland's most successful modern icons, a bridge between artistry, heritage, and entrepreneurship, the revelation struck like a thunderclap. Reports emerging from London and Edinburgh described a tense and highly confidential probe into allegations that the Galloway distillery, famed for its luxury whiskey range and carefully cultivated image of authenticity, had breached key production, tax, and safety regulations. The brand, which Sam had often referred to as his love letter to Scotland, symbolized his pride in his homeland, his respect for traditional craftsmanship, and his desire to create something enduring beyond the screen. Yet now, that proud legacy teetered on the edge of scandal, threatening not only his business empire but the very reputation he had built over decades of hard work and discipline. According to early reports from investigators, the first signs of irregularities surfaced in June 2025, when several batches of whiskey produced at the distillery were flagged for not meeting industry quality standards. Anonymous insiders within the investigation revealed that some samples exhibited unusual blending inconsistencies, suggesting potential tampering or the use of non-certified raw ingredients. These findings, though preliminary, prompted the authorities to open a deeper inquiry into the facility's internal processes. What began as a minor quality control issue soon escalated into something far more serious: allegations of tax evasion, false labeling, and sourcing materials from unregistered suppliers. Industry watchdogs expressed alarm, noting that such offenses, if proven, could lead to hefty fines and criminal charges under Scottish business and health protection laws. For an industry that thrives on heritage and trust, even the suspicion of deception was enough to send shockwaves through the market. Retailers, distributors, and loyal consumers who had long associated Galloway with purity and tradition suddenly found themselves questioning everything. As the storm intensified, attention inevitably turned to Sam Heughan himself, the public face and majority shareholder of the distillery. Though he had long prided himself on personally overseeing the creative direction of his brand, insiders acknowledged that the daily operations were handled by a specialized management team. Still, as both founder and ambassador, Sam's accountability was inescapable. "He's in the crosshairs now," a source close to the actor admitted. Sam put his name, his face, and his reputation on that label. He believed in it, invested in it, and built it from the ground up. This isn't just a business for him, it's part of his identity. Another insider claimed that Sam had been blindsided by the allegations, expressing shock and disbelief when first informed of the investigation. The source added that he had spent the past several weeks in constant meetings with his legal and financial advisors, determined to get to the truth. "He's devastated," the insider said. "He poured his heart into this company, not just his money. For him, this isn't about profit, it's about pride." Legal experts, however, have warned that regardless of intent, the law makes little distinction when it comes to public health and financial misconduct. Prominent Scottish barrister Alistair MacDonald, known for his work in corporate fraud cases, commented, "If it's established that Galloway Distillery engaged in the production or sale of whiskey that did not meet legal standards, or if they manipulated their tax records, the consequences could be severe. We've seen in past cases that even prominent figures are not spared. Such violations threaten the integrity of Scotland's whiskey industry and, by extension, the country's global reputation." He added that, depending on the extent of the evidence, Sam could face significant penalties, including imprisonment, if proven complicit or negligent. The media response was predictably explosive. Within hours of the announcement, headlines across major outlets blared variations of "Outlander star faces legal storm" and "Galloway Distillery scandal shakes Scotland." Public opinion swiftly fractured into opposing camps. Supporters of the actor, many of whom had followed his journey since his Outlander debut, rushed to his defense on social media, describing him as a victim of corporate mismanagement and vowing to stand by him until the truth emerged. Sam has always represented integrity. One fan wrote on X, formerly Twitter, "He loves Scotland too much to let anything like this happen intentionally." Others, however, were less forgiving, questioning how a company so closely associated with Hewen's personal brand could have operated under such alleged malpractice without his knowledge. "You can't take all the credit when things go well and none of the blame when they don't," a prominent Scottish journalist remarked in the Herald. The situation grew even more delicate when whispers surfaced suggesting that internal disputes among the distillery's management team might have contributed to the oversight. Anonymous employees reportedly hinted at tensions between Hewen's business advisors and production supervisors regarding sourcing practices and pricing strategies. Some alleged that in the rush to meet growing international demand, certain shortcuts may have been taken, potentially compromising quality. "It's possible Sam trusted the wrong people," said one Edinburgh-based analyst. "He's an actor, not a full-time businessman. The whiskey industry is complex, and even good intentions can lead to disaster when big money is involved." In response to the mounting controversy, Sam Hewen's media representative issued a concise but firm statement. "Mr. Hewen is fully cooperating with the authorities and remains committed to ensuring full transparency. He has always placed the highest importance on maintaining quality and integrity in all aspects of production. He believes that the truth will come to light and that his reputation, built over years of dedication, will ultimately prevail." The statement, though measured, did little to quell the rising tide of speculation. Rumors swirled that Hewen had been personally questioned by investigators, while others claimed he was preparing to step back from certain upcoming public appearances to focus on resolving the matter privately. Meanwhile, the broader implications of the case continued to reverberate throughout the Scottish business community. Economists warned that the scandal, if mishandled, could deal a blow to consumer confidence in smaller, independent whiskey brands, a sector that had seen remarkable growth in recent years. Galloway was supposed to represent the new generation of Scottish distillers, noted whiskey historian Douglas Sinclair. It bridged the gap between celebrity culture and authentic craftsmanship. If that image collapses, it could discourage other investors and tarnish the industry's credibility. Yet, amidst the chaos, there were still those who believed that Sam Hewen would weather the storm. Industry peers, former colleagues, and fans alike pointed to his long record of professionalism, philanthropy, and national pride as proof of character. "He's not someone who runs away from responsibility," said a friend close to the actor. "He's hurt, yes, but he's determined to clear his name. He'll face this with honesty, the way he's faced everything in his life." As the investigation continues, the world watches with bated breath. The outcome remains uncertain, whether it will end in redemption or ruin. But one thing is undeniable. The scandal has peeled back the glossy veneer of celebrity entrepreneurship, exposing the fragile intersection between fame, ambition, and accountability. For Sam Hewen, a man who has long embodied the spirit of Scotland on screen and off, the challenge now is not just to defend his business, but to reclaim the trust of a public that once saw him as untouchable. Whether he emerges as the victim of corporate betrayal or the author of his own downfall, his next chapter will define not only his career, but the legacy of his name, one forged in both artistry and controversy.
Indulge the movie all the time.
It's one of the best films of all time.
I can perform the whole movie for you if you want.
Yeah, I would really
anytime.
like that.
Okay,
yeah,
I'll do it right after
One-woman
this.
show.
The growing silence surrounding the Galloway distillery scandal has become almost as deafening as the allegations themselves. Despite the mounting tension and daily speculation, Sam Hewen has remained guarded in his public appearances, choosing his words carefully, his tone measured. A man walking the tightrope between transparency and damage control. Yet, as the days pass and no definitive statement emerges, that silence has begun to feed an unrelenting wave of conjecture. Across social media, fans dissect every gesture, every line from his brief interviews. Journalists, starved of clarity, craft theories of their own. Some believe he is biding his time, preparing a full legal response once the dust settles. Others suspect he is being advised to remain quiet because the evidence may be more damning than anyone first imagined. Whatever the truth, one thing is clear. The longer the silence continues, the more it threatens to fill the vacuum with rumor and doubt. Meanwhile, the investigation into the Galloway distillery has widened dramatically. What began as a small inquiry into minor regulatory inconsistencies has now evolved into a sprawling, multi-layered probe involving financial, environmental, and trade law divisions. According to credible leaks from within the investigation, authorities have reportedly uncovered material evidence pointing toward tax evasion and the use of unverified, untested raw ingredients imported through unofficial channels. Several documents seized from the distillery's administrative offices allegedly show discrepancies between declared imports and the actual stock received. These findings have led investigators to suspect that the company may have deliberately falsified purchase records in payable duties, a serious offense under Scottish commercial law. "We are following a complex trail," one official told the Scotsman, "and while we cannot yet draw conclusions, there are clear indicators of systematic malpractice." Order to reduce. Adding further gravity to the situation, several former employees have come forward with troubling accounts of the distillery's internal operations. One former production worker, who requested anonymity for fear of legal retaliation, told local media, "I saw shipments arrive from unregistered suppliers. We were instructed to process them anyway. When I raised concerns, I was told not to ask questions, just to do my job." His testimony has since been corroborated by at least 2 other ex-employees, both of whom described a culture of silence and fear within the company, where workers were discouraged from questioning procurement decisions. These revelations have cast a dark shadow over what was once perceived as a model of modern Scottish entrepreneurship. For years, Galloway Distillery had prided itself on authenticity, its marketing steeped in images of rolling Highland hills, oak barrels, and time-honored tradition. Now, that image risks crumbling under the weight of alleged deceit. The scandal took another turn when several major distributors and customers lodged formal complaints about product quality. Reports described inconsistencies in flavor profiles and packaging, with some even alleging that certain batches bore the hallmarks of dilution or adulteration with cheaper additives. These claims have sent shockwaves through the whiskey world, where reputation is everything. The suggestion that a brand associated with Sam Heughan, one that promised purity and heritage, could be Linketto tampered production has left enthusiasts reeling. "Scottish whiskey isn't just a product," said whiskey historian Ewan Douglas in an interview with BBC Scotland. "It's a cultural emblem. To compromise its integrity is to insult an entire national tradition." Indeed, the backlash from the broader whiskey community has been swift and fierce. The Scottish Whisky Association, one of the country's most influential trade bodies, issued an official statement condemning any attempt to bypass production standards or authenticity requirements. "We cannot allow any company, regardless of its fame or ownership, to undermine the reputation of Scotland's most valuable export," said spokesperson Gordon MacLeod. "If these allegations are proven, those responsible must be held fully accountable." Independent distillers, too, have expressed concern that Galloway's scandal might cast a long shadow over the entire industry, particularly among international buyers who might now question the credibility of Scottish whiskey certifications. Exports to key markets such as the United States and Japan rely heavily on trust, and any hint of counterfeit or adulteration can trigger enormous economic repercussions. As pressure mounts, all eyes have turned back to Sam Heughan. Once celebrated as a national treasure, he now finds himself trapped in a web of legal complexity and public scrutiny. In recent weeks, he has been seen entering and leaving meetings with legal advisors and auditors, appearing noticeably strained. According to sources close to the actor, he has been working tirelessly to cooperate with investigators, providing all requested documentation and correspondence related to the distillery. He's determined to prove his innocence, one associate told the Daily Record. He feels betrayed. Sam trusted his management team and relied on their expertise, but he's beginning to realize that some decisions may have been made behind his back. Despite these reassurances, the media continues to demand answers, and Sam's attempts at diplomacy have only deepened curiosity. At a charity gala in Glasgow, his first public event since the scandal broke, a journalist asked directly about the investigation. Sam paused briefly before replying, "I'm focusing on cooperation and resolution. Everything will be clear soon." His calm tone did little to satisfy the press, who interpreted his brevity as evasive. Online, the clip of that exchange went viral, with thousands of comments dissecting his expression. Some saw sadness, others guilt, and still others a quiet resolve. But beneath all the noise lies the unspoken truth. Silence, even when strategic, can feel like confession. The unanswered questions now multiply by the day. Who truly managed the day-to-day operations of the distillery? Was Sam merely the public face, or was he directly involved in its strategic decisions? Could the scandal be the result of internal sabotage or corporate rivalry? Some tabloids have even suggested darker possibilities, that competitors within the industry may have exploited Sam's fame and inexperience to set him up for failure. While such theories remain unverified, they have only fueled the ongoing drama. For his fans, the narrative has become both tragic and compelling. A beloved national hero caught in the crossfire between integrity and exploitation. Political voices have now joined the debate, with some members of the